There's this one feeling, a feeling that stops so many of us from building wealth, and that's the fear of investing. So today, we're going to do an educational analysis, really break down why so many of us feel this way. So let me just ask you this, straight up. Do you trust the US market enough to actually put your hard-earned money in it? I mean, think about it. That one question, it really gets to the heart of why so many people just pause. And hey, if you answered no to that, or even just, I'm not so sure, you are not alone. Not even close. Just look at this number, 40%. Our research, based on a 2024 World Economic Forum survey, found that's how many people are staying away from investing for one big reason. They're afraid of losing their money. So that feeling you might have, it's not just valid, it's super, super common. Okay, so here's the game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to talk about why that fear is so real. Then, the real cost of just waiting on the sidelines. We'll unpack 3 huge investment fears, show you a super simple way to start, and wrap up with what it means to play the long game. All right, section 1, the fear is real. Let's just start there by acknowledging this feeling, this anxiety that pops up whenever investing is even mentioned. You've seen this comment. I know you have. Our research shows that some version of this sentence is all over financial social media. I want to invest, but I'm just scared. This is not some fringe feeling, folks. It's a huge shared experience. And the first step really is just realizing you're not the only one thinking this. You're actually in the majority. And that brings us to a really important way to flip this whole conversation. Instead of just focusing on the risk of investing, this analysis is going to look at the hidden risk, the risk of not investing. We're calling it the real cost of waiting. Cindy Kumar, the CEO of Elevated Accounting, she absolutely nails it with this quote. She says, avoiding investing feels like protection, but it's expensive. The fear is real, but so is the cost of staying frozen. Man, that really hits home. That feeling of being safe by just holding onto your cash, it actually has a hidden price tag. So what exactly is that price? Well, just think about this for a second. Your cash, sitting in a savings account, it feels safe, right? But inflation is quietly, day after day, eating away at what it can actually buy. On the other hand, money that's invested has the potential to outrun inflation, to actually grow. So let me ask you, over the next 10, 20, even 30 years, which one of those is really the riskier choice? Okay, so let's get specific. Let's break this big, vague fear down into smaller pieces. Our analysis found there are 3 big ones that come up again and again. All right, here it is. The big one. Fear number 1. The simple, powerful, gut-wrenching fear of losing money. I mean, the thought of your hard-earned cash just vanishing in a market downturn, that is a very real, very emotional roadblock. But let's look at what the data actually shows us over time. Yeah, the market has bad days, it has bad weeks, even bad years. But our research shows that when you zoom out, the historical average return of the US stock market has been somewhere between 7 and 10% a year. The key thing here is that the scary drops are temporary, but the trend of long-term growth, that has been incredibly consistent. Okay, fear number 2. It's that feeling of, I just don't know enough to do this. It's that feeling of being totally swamped by all the jargon, right? Dividends, PE ratios, ETFs, what does it all even mean? It can make investing feel like this exclusive club that you just don't have the password for. But here's the good news. You absolutely do not need to be a financial genius to get started. There are simple, straightforward options designed for this exact problem. I'm talking about things like index funds, which you'll often see as ETFs, or mutual funds. You can think of them like pre-made baskets of stocks, so you get diversified instantly without having to become an expert stock picker. They are a fantastic, super accessible way to get in the game. And this brings us to fear number 3, which ties right back to that question I asked at the very beginning, a deep, fundamental distrust of the whole system. It's that nagging feeling that the market is rigged against the little guy, and that feeling gets a lot of fuel from things like the 2008 crisis. Or stories about Wall Street insiders. And look, while there are definitely bad actors out there, here's the most important thing to get your head around. The system has historically rewarded the people who play the long game. Regular, everyday people have built serious wealth, not by trying to time the market or outsmart the pros, but by consistently investing in the whole market through diversified funds, just owning a tiny piece of everything and letting time do the heavy lifting. Okay, so we've named the fears, we've looked them in the eye. Now for the best part, the empowering part. Your simple, actionable plan for how to actually get started. Let's kick this off with a simple strategy that beats almost any complicated plan you can think of. It's called dollar cost averaging, or DCA. And all it means is that you invest a set amount of money on a regular schedule, say $100 every single month. You do it no matter what the market is doing, up, down, sideways. It's so powerful because it takes all the stress and guesswork of, is now the right time to buy, completely off the table. So, here's your startup plan. It's just 3 easy steps. Step 1, pick a diversified fund, something like an S&P 500 ETF. Step 2, set up that regular schedule using the dollar cost averaging we just talked about. And step 3, start with whatever you can. Seriously. Thanks to things like fractional shares, you can start with $50, $20, whatever fits your budget. The amount you start with is way less important than just starting the habit. You know, this whole idea is captured in this one brilliant saying. Stephen Shipp, a finance professor at Wake Forest, summed it up perfectly. Time in the market matters more than timing the market. Just let that one sink in for a second. Being consistent beats trying to be perfect every single time.
And all of this, it brings us to our final, and maybe the most crucial section of this whole analysis, playing the long game.
I really love this old Wall Street saying from finance professor Robert R. Johnson because it just perfectly captures the choice every investor has. You can sleep well or eat well. Think about it. If you keep all your money in super safe places like a savings account, you'll sleep well knowing it's not going anywhere, but it won't really grow either. It might not even keep up with inflation. To eat well, to build real, meaningful wealth, you have to embrace the growth potential that comes with investing in stocks over the long haul. So, we've covered a ton of ground here, right? From the psychology behind the fear, all the way to a simple plan you can use. If you found this analysis helpful and you want to keep tackling these kinds of financial topics with us, make sure you subscribe. And we'll leave you with this one last thought. Forget about trying to conquer the whole mountain tomorrow. That's overwhelming. The only thing that really matters is taking that next step. So my question for you is this: what is one small step you can take towards your future today?